There you go. Hi and welcome to LCAL Low Carb Ancestral Living with Pim Johnson. Today I have Emily with me. Some of you might know her already because she has been on the show twice in the past. It was a while back now, probably a couple of years ago. And she has cured her MS and bipolar with the Carnival Diet. And if you haven't watched that interview, the very first one I did with her, it's very well worth your time. So go and do that as well after you watch this one. So today we're actually going to go a bit beyond just diet and look at what else she's doing with regards to her health, because I think this is such a great topic, because what she's doing now is just reconnecting with her roots and trying to find a way of living that ancestral life in our modern society. And I know that a lot of you people want to do that, but you find it very difficult to find something that is actually working. So I'm hoping that what Emily is going to share with us today is going to help you in your struggles or give you some ideas about what you can do. So welcome to the show, Em. So great to have you back.
Thank you. So good to be back. I love talking to you, Pim.
I know. I always miss you when we don't talk, which is like all the
I
time.
know. But whenever we do, it's just like we don't miss a beat.
Yeah,
Like it's just so great to just I don't know, have a friend
absolutely.
all the way across the world.
And it's weird because we've never met in real life, but I'm hoping that we will sometime in
Oh,
future.
I know we will. I know we will.
Yay.
It's gonna happen.
Good. I'll take that as a promise. So I know we're not here to repeat everything that you said in the first episode, but for those people that don't know you, maybe if you could just give us the short version of what your life was when you developed MS and bipolar disorder and how you found your way to carnivore and what difference that made, if you don't mind.
Yes, no, I've gotten pretty good at doing this pretty fast.
Cool.
I have to start with the mental illness because that's what brought me here. So I had debilitating mental illness in the form of bipolar disorder, where I wouldn't know who I was from each day to the next because it turned into rapid cycling. You know, because you hear about bipolar disorder and you have the highs and you have the lows, and usually it's cyclical. But mine went into rapid cycling where every single day I didn't know who I was going to be, whether I was going to be manic or whether I was going to be depressed. I didn't know who I was going to be. And I was at my most on 900 milligrams of lithium, 80 milligrams of Prozac, 80 milligrams of Adderall just to get out of bed every day. And then, of course, Ambien every night to sleep. So I was on a cocktail of meds and I was not functioning. I was an absolute zombie to the point where I had to be out of work for 6 months. And I have my master's in clinical counseling and I've practiced as a therapist. So it was not cool that I would have to reschedule all of my clients and that I wasn't my best. Um, so then my brother told me about carnivore. And I thought it was crazy, but my brother's not really a warm and fuzzy person. So the fact that he did something nice got my attention and that he recognized my mental illness as a problem, and
Mm.
that he was trying to help. And so I started eating carnivore overnight. I went from the standard American diet. I was eating entire pizzas by myself, eating ice cream out of the carton, eating donuts and pastries, soda, and just
Cream horns.
basically
Wasn't it?
cream horns. Yes, I love cream horns.
I still
Um,
don't really know
I
what
was
they are, but sorry. Go
I
on.
you don't need to know. They're the devil. They're absolutely cream horns. They're the devil. They're absolutely the devil. Um and like I wasn't even keto or like healthy. Like I was eating just junk, complete junk. And bottles of wine at a time, beer, you name it. And then overnight I went from that to 50% animal meat and 50% animal fat. And then I started feeling better. And it was rough for a while through the transition, but about 3 weeks in, I got a glimpse of hope, and I felt joy for the first time that I can remember. And it went away quickly, but it came back the next day and was a little bit longer. Um, and in this transition phase, something else was revealed in my body that I didn't know was the problem, was that I have multiple sclerosis. And about a month into, or 3 or 4 weeks into me eating carnivore, I was actually hospitalized with acute dysphagia, which meant that I couldn't swallow. I couldn't swallow water. I couldn't swallow food. I couldn't swallow anything. And they did an MRI and found lesions on my brain and diagnosed me with multiple sclerosis through a lumbar puncture and multiple MRIs. So it wasn't like they thought I had MS or I kind of had MS, like I had MS. And that was contributing to my mental illness along the way as well. But there was a knowing in me. And I think that that's really important to address today, especially in our conversation, that it wasn't a really convincing scientific journal. It wasn't this doctor or that doctor. It was inside me. I knew that I was supposed to eat meat and animal fat. And I didn't know until I actually tried it, but there was this confirmation every time I had a steak, every time I had ground beef or bacon or sausage or chicken or pork. I knew that this was the right thing for me. And so I just kept on. And I was in the hospital for 7 days. I got released, and I got the full on MS symptoms where I couldn't walk without an assistive device. I had a shower chair. I had I had to put little things like this on my pen because I couldn't write. My hands wouldn't write. I had to put these on my forks and spoons as well because I couldn't grip anything. And I just kept eating meat and kept eating animal fat. And so I started this in February of 2019. In April of 2019 was my last manic or depressive episode. So bipolar was gone. I was still on my psych meds, but bipolar, I didn't have any more bipolar symptoms. So, and then I started in February, and then May 9th of 2019 was my last MS symptom. And it never came back. It's been 3 years now. This April, this month, 3 years since I've had a bipolar episode. And next month will be 3 years that I've had an MS symptom. And I've had no medication for MS. And I titrated off of all of my meds for bipolar in September of 2019. So this September will be 3 years that I have had no psych meds. And I didn't end up back in the psych ward, and I'm not in the nursing home.
That's amazing. I love hearing your story every time you tell it. Yeah, it's so great. But you have helped other MS patients get rid of it as well, and you've seen some varying results, I take it, from memory.
I've seen people have improvements. I've never had anybody directly work with me who have said it is gone. I have had people who are influenced by me in that, like, they have listened to my stories through video, through Instagram, through Facebook, and they've emailed me and said that they're cured, like that they haven't had their symptoms come back. But I haven't, like, directly, worked with anybody.
Well, that's good enough for me. If I had MS, I would not.
Exactly. But they did it. I think that's the difference, is a lot of people, they talk to me or they work with me and they don't, like, they keep cheating. They keep
Mm.
cheating and they keep eating sugar. And they're like, but I tried it with their soda in hand. And I'm like, you didn't try it, you know?
Yeah.
But the people who try it and they have results. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
Well, that's quite encouraging for those who actually want to try it. So last time we spoke, I know that you were feeling great, which was I'm talking about last time we spoke on camera, so that was probably a year and a half, 2 years ago, something like that. And then you were eating
Yes.
just grass-fed beef, beef fat, and salt, I think, and there was nothing else
Yes.
there. And it's all I don't know if it's organic or if it's just from local farms that probably are more or less organic. So where have you gone after that? And why, if you felt great, why have you kept exploring? What's been missing?
I don't remember if I was talking to you whenever I did an experiment with egg yolks.
No.
And I did an experiment with raw milk.
Right.
Um, so I first did the raw milk, and I had 8 ounces of raw milk a day for 5 months. Because I was just like, I had this belief that my body is healing and I can do this, you know.
Mm. Yeah.
Unfortunately, I had to discontinue that. The cool part was is that I gained 15 pounds. And so I liked that part. But the negative part was that I got scales.
Oh, wow.
Like, yeah, like
I
I
like
started
lizards.
peeling. Yes, like a lizard. I'm not kidding you. It was like reptile skin, like right here. And I was just like, yeah, this doesn't feel healthy. Like, this isn't good. So obviously, I'm having some kind of an autoimmune response to that.
Yeah.
Same thing with the eggs. I did the egg yolks. I just tried egg yolks first for a month, and I got to the point where I was at work one day and I had my name badge on, and my name badge is like here on my thing, and all of a sudden I'm talking to a coworker and I'm like, yeah, huh? Oh, okay. And I was like, what am I doing? Like, I was itching so bad all over my body that
Mm.
I was just like, okay, eggs are out. And then, of course, as soon as I stopped the eggs and the milk, everything resolved. And I went back to superhuman.
Well, that's quite an improvement, though, I must say, because I remember that must have been about 2 years ago on your birthday when you got those cheap ribeyes or whatever it was from the supermarket, and I think they were organic, and you just deteriorated very quickly.
Yeah,
So just
that
a
was
little bit
really
of a
bad.
rash is probably a sign that you are healing. So I'm wondering how you would do with slightly less good quality meat, but I didn't want you to try it. I'm just curious.
Yeah, I know. And I've stopped experimenting, and partly
Yeah.
because of my husband. He's like, can we just stay right here for a minute? And
Oh.
I'm like, okay, okay. He was like, we'll just experiment like next year. Like,
Mm.
just stop experimenting. And I'm really so happy with where I'm at. I love my food every day. I get so excited about my food, that yeah, I don't need to experiment. I'm happy.
And that's, I mean, do you want to, I don't know how much there is to say about that, but so many people that even think about going to on the carnivore diet, they think that they're not gonna. Well, I can relate, but they think that they can't really enjoy the food because it's going to be the same thing over and over again. And I feel little bit like that. So hearing you saying that, I'm getting really excited about eating the same thing every day. It's like, how does that work?
I don't understand it. I really don't. Um, I literally, when I take my first bite of fat, um, of my eyes roll back in my head. And I mean, I did it just yesterday. And I was just like, yep, it's still there. Like, I just know that health and everything, nutrition is on the way. And my body just gets so excited. And it does the same way with my meat. When I bite into my meat, I just love it. And there's so many people that have said, you're full of it, you're lying or whatever. Um, I'm not. Like, this is really my experience, but I recognize that this isn't the experience of everybody else.
Yeah. So you're eating 50-50 meat and fat in volume, I take it?
I eat a half a pound of beef fat every
Yeah.
day and a half a pound of beef cuts, like a steak that's like cut up into pieces.
Yeah.
And then 1 pound of ground beef. And that's got a mixture of fat and meat in it.
Okay.
So basically 2 pounds, a mixture of fat and beef.
Yeah. Okay. That's good.
Yeah.
I can't eat that much. I'm like, wow. I wish I could. I've been
And
practicing for 3 months,
well,
but
it takes an hour and a half. I take an hour and a half to eat, and I eat like it's my job. Like,
yeah.
I really enjoy the first, probably pound. I'm just like shoveling it in, like loving it, and then I have to like sit back, like stretch, like okay, like here we go, because I'm so lazy that I don't want to have to eat again later. It's already
Right.
here. It's already prepped. It's already the perfect everything. I don't want to have to do this again later today. So
Yeah.
I just get it done, and I just do it, and I
Wow.
finish the last pound.
So you eat all of that in one sitting. I'm impressed.
Yes.
I'm very impressed.
An hour and a half.
Yeah. That's awesome. I'm so impressed by you. I know that you said before that, it's easy for you to stick to the diet because you know the consequences and how bad you're going to feel if you're not. But yeah, your dedication is kind of commendable.
Well, and like whenever I do vary, like every once in a while, I'll go out with my family and have a steak. And I always just tell them no oil on the grill. I let them know that I have an allergy, no seasonings, because I never know what I'm going to react to.
Yeah.
And about a month ago, I went out with my father to this little hamburger place. And I was like, I'll just have 2 little hamburger patties, nothing else. No cheese, no nothing, no bread, just the hamburger patties. And so I ate 2 of them, and I had a headache for 4 days. It was just ridiculous, but there was some kind of oil on the grill, and I didn't tell them, no oil.
Mm.
So I know myself. I know my body. I know that I react to certain things, and I really like feeling good.
Yeah.
So I don't want to feel bad.
Of course not. So on that note, you have started doing a lot of other things for your health and your well-being on a daily basis. And so is that something you always done and I've just not known about it? Or is that something that you started doing for any specific reasons? Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
No, never. I never was this person. I was the person who slept all the way until the third snooze on the alarm. And then I would jump out of bed. I would already have my pants right there next to me. I would throw my pants on, brush my teeth, brush my hair, whatever, and then like just run out the door. Like I would just go into my day. And because I loved to sleep. I just loved to sleep. Like sleep was my drug of choice, and I really enjoyed, staying in bed and sleeping as long as I could. And I had a tragedy happen in my family, that rocked me. And I was already carnivore, thankfully, so I was stable, but I knew that there was an extra level of nurturing that I needed to give myself, to sustain me through this tragedy. And got very intentional. I had actually, you might know her. I'm sure you know her. Needy the pharmacist,
Mhm.
Needy Valley. Um, I reached out to her and I shared my tragedy and what was happening to me. And she said, "You need to read this book." And I have had people tell me that I needed to read a book before, and I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever, you know. But for some reason, I listened to her, and I feel like it was intuition. But I listened to her, and I read that book within 2 days. It was on audiobook, but still, I sat there and literally like paid attention to this book in 2 days. It was The Untethered Soul by Michael A. Singer. And it peeled back the layers of my reality to understand that pain and this tragedy that I was experiencing is something that I can allow to move through me. It's not something that I have to hold on to. And if I do hold on to it, I'm just going to make it worse. I'm
Yeah.
prolonging. I have the control to prolong pain, and I have the control to speed up the pain, to let go and go, okay, you can miss me with that. And I did. And I got really intentional about waking up early and meditating every single day. And then it was just a snowball effect. Because once I got in tune with myself and who I really am and my real inner being, I really liked her. And I was like, oh, I want to know more about her. I want to know more about what she thinks. And then I just wanted to spend time with myself. I know that sounds really weird, but I really enjoyed nurturing myself. And then that led to me, like I said, waking up early. And then that led me to begin grounding, where I would go out and put my bare feet in the grass every morning. And that also led to me realizing that I need to put my eyes in the sun without my contacts, without my glasses, to just look at the morning sun. And so it was the perfect routine. And like it was like everything was aligning for me to wake up, meditate, pray, and then go outside right at sunrise and stick my feet in the grass and look at the sun. And it was just like this complete hug of nurturing for myself. And now it, it's everything. Like it has become my staple in that it's not like, oh, I'm going to push through and do this. Like it's my favorite part of the day. It's my favorite thing
Mm.
because if I love myself first, then I have so much more to give everybody else.
Yes. And how long does it take you to do this?
How long did it take me to, or how long,
Yeah,
like
it's
in the
like every
morning,
day.
does it take me to?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so 20 minutes of meditating, and then I would say 15 minutes of I read scripture, um, and I pray. So roughly an hour, just right there at my bed, and I do this all at my bed. Um, and then I go. Well, I started working out, so then I go and I work out for 30 minutes. And then I go, once I'm all hot and worn out, then I step outside. And I go outside for 20 minutes every morning. So an hour, basically 2 hours.
Mm.
And then I eat. So,
Three
and then an
hours.
hour and a half of that.
Yeah,
So yeah,
yeah.
that's like my day, and that's why I wake up at 4 because
Mm.
I gotta get all this stuff done before my first appointment is usually at 8:30 in the morning.
That's great. So I want everyone to actually hear this, that she's not getting up the same time as she used to get up, and just kind of don't do the things that she needs to do. She's actually waking up earlier, which I think in turn makes you go to bed earlier as well.
It does. But I also want to say that a key part of this was that I conditioned myself to do this.
Yeah.
But I would allow myself to take naps. So a couple of mornings as I was beginning to do this, I would block off time for naps. So it
Mm.
was more important for me to wake up at 4 a.m., complete my routine, and then go back to bed. And I know
Yeah.
that sounds silly. Like, why wouldn't you just wake up later? But over time, I didn't need the nap.
Yeah. And for those that think, oh my God, I could never do all of that, you can just do it but shorter. You don't have to do all the things that Emily's doing either. Usually, how you start your day is literally how the rest of your day is going to continue. So, if you start with chaos, that's usually what's going to be going on the rest of the day. So, I think this is such a good investment of your time. And so, how have you seen this impact your life when you started doing all these things?
It's changed my reactions to literally anything that comes up in the day. Um, Whenever there's a coworker who is either being annoying or says something ridiculous, or a child, or my car is acting up, or somebody cuts me off in traffic. It's like I'm in this weird bubble where, like, I see things happening around me, but they're not happening to me.
Mm.
And I just kind of like go through my day. I still get irritable. I still get, snappy. I still have, but it's so much less than it
Yeah.
used to be. And so I'm not reacting to things. I'm just responding to them, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does to me anyway. And I think that is amazing
Yeah.
just by doing this.
Yeah.
So
And it
amazing.
took me a long time. It took me, I would say, it was progressive. I
Yeah.
started with just the meditation. And that was really hard for me at first because I was tired. I wanted to go to sleep. And my mind went immediately to, you got to do this today. You got to do this today. You got to do that today. And don't forget this. And so what I did is I put a notepad right next to me so that I could just vomit out all of the randomness and then get back to, okay, what's in the now? What is happening right now? And it was really basic. Like, I had to tell myself, I am sitting on the bed. I feel the sheets underneath my legs. I hear the air conditioner. I smell this oil. I taste this water. Like, I had to really get immersed in right now
Mm.
before my brain would stop going to what happened yesterday or what's going to happen tomorrow.
Yeah, that's awesome. Have you noticed anything on your physical health as well?
I don't know. Like, I don't have any measurements.
Yeah.
But I was going to. I still do go to a naturopath,
Mm.
chiropractor, and he said that I had some kind of a cortisol response in my eyes, and
Okay.
that he suggested that I had like high levels of cortisol, um, and that now, as he checks me, it's been a while, that he says that it's improved, and I have noticed that I'm just calmer. I'm a lot calmer, and before I have been in, because especially with my bipolar disorder and mental illness, I have been in survival mode for 10 plus years. And it's like, that was just my normal. And I thrived on chaos. And now I've recognized that I actually thrive on peace and
Mm,
calm and order. And I don't need to be in that high level of stress.
that's amazing. And I think so many people are thriving on chaos because that's how we build our society. Everything is about this has to be done then, and there's a deadline here, and you have to start working really early. And before that, most people have kids or whatever, and they need to take care of that. And it's just like stress, stress, stress throughout the whole day, basically. And I think that this probably contributes to a lot of disease. I know I'm a lot about nutrition, but I think we're kind of overseeing the mental health aspect of things and how stress is impacting our lives. And as you said, cortisol in your eyes. I've never even heard about that, but obviously, if you can get your stress levels down, you will get lower cortisol levels, and that will probably decrease the amount that you have in your eyes as well. So, how
Yeah.
do you do you think that everyone would benefit from doing this, or there's some people that maybe should be they're kind of just genetically predisposed to do the stress thing and they wouldn't benefit from doing that, or what's your take?
I think it's harder for some people to calm down. I think it's harder for some people to quiet the noise in their head. But I would say that those are the people that really, really need it.
Mm.
And because they're not ever giving themselves a break. And to really press in to know how good it feels. It's like a high. It's like just taking a hit of like a really good drug, to sit there in meditation and to feel peace and to love yourself. Like I can't tell you how many times I've gone into meditation like with this anxiety and this angst about my day, or or something that I'm worried about with my business or with my family, or something that I'm worried about. And then at the end of it, it's like I just smoked like 4 joints and I'm just like, yeah, it doesn't matter. Like it really doesn't matter. Everything's going to work out. Everything's okay. And I just go through my day. And I didn't touch a drug. I didn't touch anything. I literally just got in connection with my inner being and with myself. And I got a realistic perspective on everything. It's it's like, like stepping above the maze and going, "Oh, this is going to work out this way, or I don't even know how it's going to work out, but it's going to be all right." Instead of going, "Oh my gosh, the sky is falling, everything is horrible." You just you basically get that elevated state to where you can look at everything in a calm perspective and go, "Oh, it's going to be okay. It's going to be all right."
So on that note, I mean, I find it quite hard to meditate. I tend to want to fall asleep when I'm trying to do that. But let's say that someone who starts doing this and they can meditate, and you were mentioning that you started liking spending time with yourself, and I know a lot of people they're very scared of spending time with themselves, so they need to keep themselves occupied 100% of the time to avoid that feeling of just being with yourself. So how do you kind of go from there to liking yourself and then to actually loving yourself? How did that progress for you, and what did you do?
I definitely recommend a CD, like a guided meditation, to start. And even now, I still like to use that.
Mm.
Just whenever I'm just kind of like, just let's switch it up a little bit. And Dr. Joe Dispenza has a morning CD and an evening CD. And it's literally like 20 minutes in the morning and then 20 minutes in the evening. And it's like putting the bumpers on a bowling lane where it just like it keeps me in the moment. It just keeps me there so that I can really think about, okay, breathing in and breathing out. And I can really think about what he is suggesting to think about in that moment. But it's not so much talking that it's distracting me. There are times that I can play the CD and go on my own little journey. Like I don't even listen to what he's saying. I'm just there in the moment. So I would suggest some guided meditations to start out with.
Awesome. So, what type of people are you helping? Are you just helping people with bipolar or mental health problems or MS? What do you do nowadays?
It's really a bunch of randomness that comes to me, but it's always somebody who's really miserable. That's usually
You have miserable people.
the theme.
Good.
I help miserable people. I do.
Yeah.
I do. I help miserable people. And sometimes it's mental illness. Sometimes it's mental illness that they don't recognize that they have. So they're coming to me for weight loss, or they're coming to me for carb and sugar addiction. But they don't recognize that the reason that they're addicted and the reason that they're struggling so much is because, either that or trauma, a lot of childhood trauma, relational trauma, self-loathing. And I'm able to just help them walk through that, and to nurture themselves.
Awesome. And you're also doing a Saturday live Zoom meeting, which now is at 4 a.m. So I won't be there for another 6 months or so, but I will come and attend at some point.
I hate that.
Yeah. And are those just clients of yours, or can anyone attend if someone listening wants to hop on? Is that all right?
Yeah. So I have a big heart, and a little piece of me dies every time I talk to a potential client, and they say, I want to work with you. I need to work with you. I'm going to die if I don't make some changes in my life, but I can't afford to work with you. And it just feels like icky. It feels horrible. Like, why does money matter? Money doesn't matter. Money is such a stupid thing that prevents me from working with somebody. But I recognize that I can't work with everybody, that I have to protect myself. I have to provide for my family. I have to provide for me. And so my little brain went into like, what can I do? And I was like, well, I can't give all of my time to everyone, but I can give an hour a week to everyone. Yeah. And then I thought, okay, well, that's just me. That's just helping the people that are in the meeting. And then I was like, what if part of their price that they're paying for this is that this is going to be a public conversation? And so then I hit record, and I tell them, I'm recording this, I'm putting it up on YouTube. And then it's able to help even more people who are able to watch the replay. And then I get to sleep at night feeling like, okay, I'm giving something to these people that can't afford to work with me.
Yes. That's brilliant.
So it's a win-win.
Yes. So where can people find you if they want to follow you on social media, if they want to join the Saturday meetings? Where are you? Because I know you have different names everywhere.
I know. Well, it was strategic at first, but Carnivore Minds has just taken over. So Carnivore Minds is my home. That's where I'm going to stay in on Instagram. And then on Facebook, you can look me up by entering Inner Clarity System. I have a Facebook group there, Inner Clarity System, and that's free. That's open to everybody. And then on YouTube, it's Center of Brilliance. So I hate that I have all these different names. I would like congruence, but that's where it is right now. And I'm working on a website, which will hopefully be ready next month.
Yay. Awesome.
Yes.
So is there
and
anything
then everything
else?
will be in one place.
Oh, perfect. Is there anything else you want to share with people? Just like some tips or, you know, even mindset tips? Because sometimes it's so hard to just kind of convince yourself that it's worth doing these things or even trying to do it because it's too much effort or whatever.
Yeah. The only other thing that was foundational for me was writing my vision. And it was just a little paragraph. And I wrote it out. I believe I typed this one out. I typed it out and I printed it out so that I have it in my hand. And it's very simple statements. It just says, basically, on the top of it is, I help miserable people. I help people. I am nurturing myself. I am healing. My family is healing. I have more than enough to pay my bills. I have more than enough food. Everything is working out. The right people are coming into my life at the right time. So just very basic, simple statements, but it's just this little paragraph. And I read it every morning and I read it every night. Whenever I do my scripture reading and everything, at the same time as my meditation. And I change it. So whenever I have a thorn in the side, like I have something that is just really bothering me, like a crazy coworker or something, I put that in my vision statement. I say, so and so is getting easier to work with, or so and so is not bothering me as much, and so it feels very like, why am I doing this? This is ridiculous. But just test it. Just test it,
Yeah.
and you will be baffled how you're actually writing out reality just by reading these words. And sometimes I read them and I'm like, yeah, whatever. Okay. But I do it. I do the routine every single morning and every single night. And there are some times where I'm reading a line and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's really happening right now. That's really happening. And I get so excited and I feel it. And then there's sometimes I'm reading it and I start crying because it's so beautiful. And then there's other times that I'm like, okay, whatever. Yeah, I read it, But you got to just do the routine every day. So that's my only other tip.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you for donating your time, coming and talking about this. I think it's important that people see that it is doable and it's simple things. You just need to do them and you might see some magic happening. So thank you
so
much.
Baby steps. Just do baby steps.
Exactly. So thank you.
No problem. Thanks, Pim.
Bye.